very, very corny and almost dragged out. It's almost a groaner, right? I think so. It is
I
a
like
groaner.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, but it's pretty great.
Where are you? Where are you, Erin? Where are you calling from?
Sure. So I'm based in San Francisco and have a restaurant here. And what you're talking about, the ability to relate, the ability to connect, it really is what we're here to talk about today. We talked with small business owners across the United States and dove into their passions, their drives, and their challenges on a daily basis. We wanted to know why they do what they do and what keeps them going. And what we found actually is that 64% of them thought it was their personal responsibility to contribute to their communities, to have those personal connections, to share a joke.
To share a joke. Do you know, I've known many entrepreneurs, and I guess you might call some of them serial entrepreneurs, because quite frankly, and I guess Robin and I fit into this category a little bit, a lot of failures happened before there was a success. And I often think that what you just said is exactly the reason why we want success, is because we feel like whatever it is we've got is going to contribute to the community.
Absolutely. And those small business owners, when they're setting themselves up for success, they've tapped into their passion and their vision. They're telling their stories about their businesses to their customers and everyone around them, and they're building brand ambassadors who will support them for the long term.
Oh, that is awesome. I love that. Now, how do you know, though, beforehand, or is there no way to know that you've got the one thing that's going to make a difference in your community and for yourself as a business?
Well, you can set yourself up for success. Really, you can tap into that passion and vision by really thinking about your drive and being realistic. So if you can make yourself self-sufficient, which 64% of those business owners we talked to said they want to be their own boss. They want that freedom. They want the chance to experiment. And they're setting themselves up by using technology. So 79% of them thought that technology made it easier for them to compete against the big stores.
Well, you have to make sure, though, that you can keep driving business, not just to your website, but also to your brick and mortar stores. So how do they deal with something like that, with keeping themselves in the public eye, making the public want what they have?
Yeah, so a quarter of those business owners chose their location specifically for their local community. I know this firsthand. I actually live in the apartment above my restaurant. So by physically being there, you are connecting to your customers. And 94% of them told us that accessing capital through a Square Capital loan helped them contribute to their local economy. So when people see you participating in your local economy, committed, they want to support you.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we've all known the small business that became a bigger business. What did I pronounce the name of your business correctly, or maybe better just ask you, how do you pronounce it?
Sure, it's Ichi. It just means the number one.
It means what?
Not like we're number one. We're not bragging. It just means one, like the number one.
Oh, Ichi Sushi. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you talk about hustling.
Yes.
What is hustling?
Hustling is essential.
I know what
hustling is.
Yeah,
so hustle is really, yeah. Well, I think, let's define. It's that drive. It's that resilience, right?
That's what it is. Exactly what it is.
It's what gets you out of bed in the morning. It's why you're waking up.
Absolutely. Sorry. We're really not shock jocks. It's just, how could you not say something?
Well, it's really, but it is. It's a word that's loaded, and it's because people want to work hard.
Do you know what I'm curious about? First of all, thank you for getting up early. If you're in San Francisco, it's early for you. Do you in San Francisco, for example, does any business person in San Francisco have, a different intuition, or you know what I mean, about what will work in that city? In other words, what would work in that city? Would it work here in the Southeast? Well,
it's really tapping in. Maybe, it's tapping into that local community. So what we learned when we were talking to business owners across the country, and I think this piece is true, 58% of the small business owners felt like competition from big corporations forced them to adapt to their local customer and serve them better and more deeply. And so I think that the answer is really in that secret sauce of listening to your local community.
And we're in a mixed community because we have, I would say, three groups. We have college kids in the university, and we have a lot of retirees here, and then we have tourists. So we have like three different markets here, really. And I don't know who, because we're in a radio station, so I guess we get all of them. But like if you had a sushi restaurant, I bet you'd get the college kids and the tourists. That's just my hunch.
Well, yeah, if you can create regulars in any customer, and you also want to think about how to be creative. So what you're talking about too is that those are different audiences, and they might have different needs. If you're a business, you might have different needs. So business owners, they're saying that they're facing more challenges than 5 years ago, but they're getting super creative about meeting their customers, and they're doing it by saving cost. So there's an entrepreneur here, Cheng-Hu, he's a chef, and he started to share kitchen space so that he could defer some of that cost and really make his pop-up thrive.
Who took him up
wonderful.
on it? Who's doing who's sharing the space with him?
So other chefs are sharing that kitchen so that they're deferring that rent. Yeah, because you may have heard rent out here is pretty pricey.
I know, but I was picturing like a magician or something, doing tricks over in the corner while he's chopping up food.
Is it good for
That's the whole concept.
Is it good for the small business owner to be the jack of all trades, or should they kind of expand out a little bit by getting people to help?
So by being that jack of all trades, you're at least aware of what's going on, but you're right. You need to tap into the people around you that will help you and support you so that you can thrive being your own boss.
What is SquareUp? What is SquareUp? I just asked that.
Sure. So we started with payments. That may be how you know us, accepting payments. But we also allow our sellers to grow with us. So small businesses have an end-to-end ecosystem that has a point of sale. We have reporting and analytics, so you know how your business is doing and growing. We have hardware for accepting payments, and then financial products like Square Capital and payroll.
Okay, I have a question about this, and it doesn't apply to Robert and I now, but years ago, we used to, we would go to like these art shows, and we would buy a 10 by 10 or rent a 10 by 10 space, and then you're trying to sell stuff. And back in those days, you had to take cash. So there was no way you could take a card. But that's what you do. You and I know a lot of services offer nowadays, you can use your cell phone and things like that. But is that what you do? I mean, you help out the small business person set up a way to take payments, even if they're on a remote location?
Absolutely. So small business owners can accept a payment anytime, anywhere they need to make their sale, whether that's with a chip card, tap phone payments, or in-person payments, or even online.
Wow.
And you were really involved with a literacy project.
Yeah, actually in my previous career, I've always been very community-minded, and I worked on a local and national literacy program.
That's pretty amazing, because then you can also influence the small business owner, not just to have their business, but to go out into their community and see where there's a need and have them do fundraisers and awareness campaigns.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I thought about all the time and what brought me to small business was by being in a community center in my neighborhood, I thought about how we were a third place and a safe place for communities to go. And it actually was something that encouraged me to have my own storefront in my own neighborhood.
Is that right?
Oh,
wow.
wonderful.
Good for you. It sounds like very successful. I'm not a sushi person. What would you suggest if I wanted to if I wanted to ease into it? What's a good beginner's sushi?
Oh, I think the California roll is very safe and incredibly delicious.
What's in it?
Oh, it's cooked crab, so it's not raw.
Okay.
It's cooked crab in mayonnaise with a little white rice and some seaweed nori wrapper.
Oh, there you go.
All right,
It's
so
all
I'm going to go
cooked
to
in
my local
mayonnaise.
sushi guy and say California roll. Because you got me.
Yeah, you'll be in the clear.
You got me. Mayonnaise won me over. That's always a good thing for me.
Mayonnaise can win anyone over.
Erin, I hope I said your name right. Archuleta, is that right? Probably wrong.
That's correct.
Oh, it is right. Okay. Well, thank you for getting up early. You are a fun guest. Thank you for being on our show to give us a bright moment. And everybody go. Is the website we want to send the listeners to SquareUp.com?
/Heart and Hustle.
Oh, /Heart and Hustle.
There you
And do you have a website for Ichi Sushi?
Oh, I do. It's just ichisushi.com.
Ichisushi.com. I just love your name.
He's going to go there once he goes out
Sushi.
there.
Please come visit.
I have two old classmates that I went to school with when I was a kid, and I've become in touch with them again over the years because of Facebook. And they live right near you.
Oh, Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, Erin, thank you thank you for being on the show with us today. That was fun.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Lisa McGinnis, editor of Ocala Magazine and host of Ocala Magazine Radio. Join me every Friday at 10 a.m. when we bring the pages of Ocala Magazine to life. There's only one Ocala Magazine and only one source